Everyone is talking about diversity today. Okay, we have diversity at work, but are we creating inclusive environments? That's the question. Because we can have a lot of people from different nationalities, different languages, different religions, different everything, but they don't feel included. Is everyone heard? Because you will find a lot of people sitting in silence. If you have emotional intelligence, if you are a successful leader, you can know that there's tension. Then leadership or management feel surprised when someone resigns for a better salary or a better work condition or a more international company. You didn't give them the sense of belonging. There's a research from McKinsey and Company.
Ghalia, I'm very excited to have you again, but this time in English on the Core Impact podcast, talking about leadership and your experience and stories. The first question I would like to know from you, how can you choose projects that are aligned with your passion and purpose, your natural talent, and the need in the market? How can you combine between these three? The passion, the talent, and the need.
Okay. Hi, Omar. Glad to be with you again in a podcast. You started with the toughest question. Let's agree on that. Because mixing all of these together is really hard. Is a hard job. Most of the times, there's always a missing element. Sometimes it's money. Sometimes it's passion. Sometimes it's, let's say, impact or meaning. Most of the time, when I moved to the UAE, it was completely different from the work I used to do in Syria, back in Syria. Back in Syria, I had, let's say, different jobs. So I had my main job, which is the full-time job that I was using to get the income at the beginning. It has some kind of meaning because it was with the United Nations and it was about refugees and so on. So yeah, it has some kind of meaning, but I didn't have, let's say, so much control of the outcome or how things go. And at the last year in that job, I had more control because I was assigned to be the project officer of one of the projects that was about psychological support to peers. So I brought new audiences, or let's say I brought new beneficiaries from the staff, which are the workers. Most of the times, lower level people are ignored and not seen, not heard, and so on. So yeah, this is when I started to feel the impact. The income was good. And the name of the organization on the CV was good too. Then when I moved to the UAE, it was so much different. Here, the country is stable, so there are no crises or conflict or people who have this kind of complex problems. So most of the time, the jobs are commercial. It's not like 90% of the times. So what I'm trying to do here is to balance between the things I love to do on the level of the job itself and the income, because the meaning is mostly absence. Because it's commercial. I'm not a commercial business person at all. So my personality is all about give me the space, give me the needs, or even give me the space to explore the needs. And I will come up with ideas, solutions. I will execute. I will be so much creative and so much. I will have a lot of attention to details. But don't ask me about money. Don't tell me how will you get revenue out of this. And this was one of the challenges in my startup back in Syria. I was focusing on the impact on the community, the meaningful things, the meaningful side of the startup. So I wasn't focused on how to get money for the startup so it can be sustainable. So yeah, for me, it's very hard to do this because I'm not a money person. I just want someone who is too rich and too too generous to give me money and tell me just don't worry about financials, go do whatever impact you want to do. So it's very hard to do this, but still, like, I always say that it's all about trying to balance the mix according to the variables in your life currently, in the current, or let's say to flow with the context. Because when you start working after graduation directly, all you care about is experience. And this is normal because you are fresh, you don't have any experience, you just have theoretical information from the college, and then you go to the labor market and you find you are in a very huge shock that all you spent years and years studying is not relevant to the labor market. And then you start getting experience and you start moving from the level of junior and fresh to mid senior and senior. And when you become senior, you start focusing on, okay, now I have experience, I need money, and I can have some kind of like the luxury of thinking of the meaning behind what I'm doing. Because I have the skills. I have, like, of course, I didn't master the skills, but still I have the skills that could give me a good position, a good salary, and so on. So I always like, and whenever I like give consultation to anyone, I just tell them that think of your priorities. Are you in a phase in your life where you need money the most, or you need experience the most, or you feel empty inside and you need to fill this gap and you want to feel that there's a meaning of your life. It's not just like I'm living to get a salary, spend the salary, go to bed, and then like spend all these years and then die and that's it. So and it depends on the personality of the person itself, themselves. So sometimes people just care about, like, they want to make wealth and that's it.
They
Uh,
want to make,
they
sorry?
are not. They want to make wealth. They don't
Wealth.
care
Okay.
about impact. Not all people care about impact, and that's normal. Like, it's not. It's not something to just like accuse people about. It's normal. That this is life. This is different personalities, different mindsets, and it depends on their personal experience. So some people came from a low economy layer of the society. So they think or they focus on making money because they don't want to keep living in the same financial issues all their life. And they want their kids, their families to live a better life and so on. Some people use this as, let's say, a motive, but still focus on meaning. Like for me, I came from a family that is like, I can say, mid-economy level. We are not poor and we are not rich at the same time, but still my family think of others. So I have this kind of like mentality, like whenever you do something, think of other people and think of giving, think of making a good impact on people's lives. So I grew up I grew up in an environment, or I grew up in a family that has that has this mindset. So it depends on the personal experience of each person, and it depends on the context of the phase that you are living in now. Like for example, if someone came to me from the UAE, living in the UAE, I will definitely tell them focus on the money because life here is not easy on the level of economy. You need and you have a lot of commitments, a lot of financial commitments. You have rent, you have installments, you have bills, you have a lot of things. And yes, I will tell them focus on money, because if you didn't get enough money to live a good life, or like at least a medium life here, you will not survive, and then you will go back to the lowest level of Maslow's hierarchy. You will find yourself without your basic needs. So then you will say, okay, I don't give a damn about anything about other people. I just want to make money and I don't want to be kicked out of my home, let's say.
Mhm.
But if someone says that I care about meaning and I have a good income, I will tell them then, okay, you have two options. Whether you just like say, I'm satisfied with everything I'm doing and that's it, or you give extra effort and work after work on the things that give you meaning. And this is what I'm doing now. So I have my full-time job. I go to my full-time job. I give them all I have. And then whenever I go back home, I start working on the things that matter to me as like an individual, because I don't like just like making income and that's it. This is my personality. But it depends. Like maybe after 1 or 2 years, I will go back and say, no, I don't care about impact anymore because the context has changed. I will focus on me making wealth or whatever it is. I don't think it will happen, but
Right.
yeah.
I think it's important to be aware of this duality, like either or. What I remember that I took a course about burnout, and there was one of the key reasons why people have burnout is not having a meaning at work. So if there's no purpose, no passion, then they have a burnout. It's not only they are working too much, etc. And also the other one is not having control over what they are doing, which is something that you should also mention. But here about the impact, the question is like, isn't true that everyone needs it to have a meaning at work? I think it's yes, but it's also, as you are saying, there's different levels. And also from what I remember, they said, and this is something I like what you said, you can do it also after work if you cannot do it at work. They said, if you don't find a meaning at work and you cannot quit now, then at least volunteer either with money to others, like anything that you find meaningful, or with your time, do some voluntary work. This will give you this meaning and this will prevent you in the end from having burnout. So I think it's always a cycle that when you give, it will come back to you in a way. What do you think about this?
See, I like after all these years of like fighting in life, I believe now that everything is a mindset. And a couple of weeks ago, I was watching a podcast for Jay Shetty and Mel Robbins, and he said that um, they made they had some kind of like an observation on nurses in a hospital, not nurses, workers. And there was two groups of these workers. One that is always feeling bad about their jobs because their jobs was to clean and do these kind of like daily work, like whenever someone goes checks in and out from the hospital room, and also the facilities and so on, they need to clean, and they should go earlier than people and leave later than people. And the other group was always thinking that they were always happy, and they gave them different aspect or different insights about work. They said, "Yeah, work is great. We are serving other people, and so on." And they mentioned that they projected themselves as service providers, like angels or something, because they are providing something to people who are going to get medical services and so on. So sick people and um, so they had the mindset of
You mean
turning
both groups are
turning the
doing the
angle,
same thing?
the same thing in the same hospital, but they had different mindsets. The first group just focused on the daily things they are doing and how dirty it is or how hard it is and how challenging it is. The second group focused on the meaning behind what they are doing. And that's why the first group was feeling bad about their jobs. The second group was feeling happy because they had a different, let's say, glasses, and they had different angles of seeing how things are. So I believe it's a mindset. And even at your work, like, let's say when I worked in the United Nations, at first I just thought of my job as a frontline person who is just doing a day-to-day work. But then when I started listening to other people, to the beneficiaries' stories, some of them cried at my desk, some of them asked me for extra help, some of them came to me with their challenges. I couldn't help all of them, but I did help some of them. When I started thinking of my job not just as a frontline person who is responsible for signing off that this person can get the financial aid or not, um, everything changed. And I started, like, it was exhausting because I was listening to other people's like sad stories, and it's emotionally overwhelming. So I used to go every day after work to the park alone, turn off
Mm.
my phone, and just like look at the sky without anything else. But I was feeling the purpose of the job. So then I started saying that, okay, the income is very good, but still I'm doing impact. It's not just for money. And that's how I think that's how I was like, um, I was recommended to be the project officer for the next project I joined, because I wasn't thinking of these people as just people coming to me and just like I'm signing off and that's it. Just don't talk to me anymore and so on. And you can always do this. You can always find some kind of like meaning, but if it's really impossible, because sometimes the environment is too toxic, sometimes the job is too chaos, and you have a lot of like challenges, people are not good, management is not good, clients are not good, and so on. um, then you don't have any possible way to do this unless you do it after work. And you can think about it as meaningful financially for you at the end, because you don't want to live in the street at the end, at the end of the day, like, because you just want meaning from your work. So it's kind of like blending, or having, it's okay, you can eat salad with one element missing sometimes. It's it, it's not that good, but still you can eat it to survive. It's the same thing.
While you are listening to the Core Impact podcast, please take a moment to pause and share with me. How do you feel? Are you enjoying the conversation, feeling inspired, or something else? I would love to know your feelings in the comments. Since you talked about mindset, I remember you wrote turning complexity into clarity. Do you have some stories about how, like in either projects you were working on, or stories from others where you saw there were lots of complexity in a project that turned into clarity, and how this affected the team?
um well, I worked in a lot of projects. I can talk about the job I'm working in now. So the entity I'm working in um, is kind of like anything but well structured
Okay.
internally. It's not it's not that they don't want it to be structured. It's that they have a lot on their plate, so they don't have the time to turn things into a well structured environment where everything has a plan, and you know that, like, in the next 3 months I have all these projects and that's it. Like, for example, I worked on a plan yesterday, the project is canceled today. Yeah, that easy. And it's very hard when you have this kind of environment to make a result. You will always feel like you are running in your place. You are making a lot of effort, but still you are not reaching anywhere. So I just joined them 1 month ago, and it's really hard. I was like, during all this month, I was just trying to understand what's happening there. It's like someone throw you in a laundry machine, and turned on the button, and you are like there trying to figure out what's happening. So what I suggested is that, like, whenever you have a situation that is too complex, it's really hard to tell them that, okay, let's go on to a well-structured situation directly. And this is called change management. And in the word of management, this is change management. So you don't just change anything that is happening in a certain way, whether it's positive or negative or whatever it is. You cannot change it in a day or night. So you should have a plan to do this, and you should work on the mindsets before you work on anything else. So whenever you have a change management, you need two things. And this is not just on the level of projects, and this is on the level of everything. And you know what I mean. So you need laws or regulations, and you need to work on the awareness and the mindsets. And this all comes from leadership. Whenever you have a leadership that understand that this change is good and it should happen, and they follow the regulations themselves, even if it's hard for them to do this, or if it will affect them negatively on an individual level, and they have the mindset. They say that, okay, it's time for a change. Let's do this. And change always looks terrifying to everyone. This is the nature of humans. They always resist change because change means unknown. And
Mm.
humans are enemies of the unknown. So this is something normal. And people think that, okay, if I'm going to resist the change, if people are going to resist the change, then let's not do it, because they don't want to go into headaches and so on. And that's why you see a lot of workplaces where things are messy for ages, because no one has the courage and no one has this kind of like flexibility or resilience to say that, okay, I will take this headache, but it will be for like a short period of time, and then things will be better. So what I'm trying to do now is to balance working things in their way and starting to do some kind of like small impactful things that gives them the sense of short-term results. Like, for example, things on the level of meetings. Easy. Just like do some meeting management. They see that, okay, now now our meetings are more effective. Okay, let's go a step forward. Let's do kind of like more project management. Let's try to make things more into a pipeline where projects should be evaluated and so on. So this is how
So
how this is how you turn a
let's give an
complex thing
example.
into clear. Yeah,
Let's give an example with the meeting. What do you
yeah.
mean with making the meeting more structured? For example, say maximum 20 minutes, for example, or what kind of structure that you're talking about here?
First, agenda. Just you don't step into a meeting without knowing what will happen in the meeting. Why are we meeting? It's just start with why. That's it. Why are we meeting? These are the things we are going to discuss in this meeting. Nothing less, nothing more. Just focus on these things and give them some time before. Just like send them a notification or send them a book the meeting ahead, and tell them that this is the time that we have for our meeting. We're not going to extend. This is the time each one of you will have. These are the projects we are going to discuss, because these are the projects that matter to everyone who is attending this meeting. Any other projects that then need the attention of only one or two of you, just schedule a separate meeting, and that's it. Don't bring everyone into the conversation. Then you step into the meeting. You have to be diplomatically firm about managing the discussion, because, and especially in our culture, we like to talk a lot. We are talkative creatures. So if you didn't firmly manage or facilitate the discussion, people will talk about like what they cooked yesterday or where they went in the last weekend, and things will go messy, and you will waste a lot of time, and you will end up stepping out of the meeting without any efficient results. So I started like I started and whenever they started going into side talks, I just like I used someone else because I didn't want to create a tension with anyone else. So I used someone who is higher than me, and I agreed with them that okay, whenever you see side talks, please take the lead and end it in a nice way, of course. Um, and I was responsible for saying that, okay, guys, we didn't finish that point. Let's finish it, and then we will move on to the next one. So I was trying to keep their attention on one point at a time. It was not easy at the first couple of meetings because they are not used to it. But after the meeting, everyone came to me and they said, thank you. This was a very good meeting compared to our previous meetings because we achieved something. We didn't just sit and argue about things and so on. And we came up with an action plan. Okay, we did things during the meeting and we had an action plan. Everyone knows what they should do after the meeting. And life is easier for everyone. So and whenever you do this, and just like whenever you are trying to implement any change, tell people why it's good for them, not for you. Because if you said that it's good for me because I want things to be more structured, they will not care. Touch their why. Talk about their why, not your why. So I told them that this
How
is
about
better for
authenticity then?
you are not changing, you are not manipulating. Be careful. You are talking about what they care about. Because they don't care about what you will get out of this meeting. They care about what they will get out of the meeting. How am I going to see that projects will be easier for me, or how am I going to see that I achieved through this meeting? It's not just me for checking the list of the projects or managing things. It's also them, because they want something out of the meeting, even though they are not used to this. So everyone comes to the meeting, they want approvals, they want to discuss their ideas and so on. So give them the space to discuss what they want to discuss, but in a structured way. And tell them that I'm doing this because at the end of this meeting, we're going to achieve 1, 2, 3. You will get the results that you want. You will discuss the ideas that you need the space to discuss and so on. You will get the approvals. So they will have the motive to be involved in this. And this will give like involving them is different from ordering them or like guiding them to do this, to do anything. So it's about their why and their involvement. And whenever a human being feel that they are involved, they will do more.
Yeah.
They will definitely do more because they will kind of like have this sense of ownership. It's not just their project, it's our project. So it's me and the project. So yeah, it's kind of like change management is very hard, by the way. It has a lot of like risks. It has a lot of resistance, and um, not all people have the courage and the power to do it because it needs a lot of patience, especially when you are in a managerial level, and especially middle management, because middle management has the pressure from up and down. They are always squeezed in the middle. So it's really hard. But whenever you achieve it, it's really impactful because you change the culture. You change something, and you change behavior and attitude, which is something really hard to change. You can change a skill, you can change a title, you can change policies, you can change regulations, but it's too hard to influence and change behavior. But it's possible.
Mm.
whenever you are smart enough to do it, whenever you think of other people while you are doing it.
Galia, I'm gonna try to summarize, let's say, and you tell me if I understood, let's say, the main idea here. You talked about, first of all, changing the mindset, turning complexity into clarity starts with understanding what change management is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the most important point to understand that people hate change because they don't like or they are afraid of the unknown. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to convince them to change anything, in order to
Mm-hmm.
overcome this fear, you have to start with them directly, going to them and tell them why this change is beneficial for them, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's all. By the way, people think that leadership is a managerial skill, but it's not. There's a lot of psychology in leadership, and this is
Mm.
something that not all people talk about, because when you think of how people think and act, it's all psychology. When you think of people's behavior, it's all psychology. It doesn't happen like 1 + 1 = 2. It's not that easy. It's not black and white. You always have actually a huge space of gray in people's behavior. Whenever you are dealing with people, you have a huge space of gray, because you are dealing with a person. A person means they have mindset, they have behavior, they have past experiences, they have traumas, they have mental health, maybe issues or not issues. They have past experiences in their childhood, in their teenager, when they were teenagers, and at work, in the street, with their families, with their lovers, with their partners, with their friends. It's too complex. And imagine all of this complexity coming to the workplace, where the workplace is becoming even more complex today, because you have to run all the time to learn hundreds of skills in 24 hours. I don't know how. You have to cope with all the changes, technical changes, or on the level of technology, on the level of economy. And everyone knows now that the whole planet is suffering from economy issues. So, and they might have families, they might not. So it's very complex. You don't know what's going on in their heads. They have soul, they have needs. You don't know in which level in Maslow's hierarchy they are, in all the aspects of their lives, not just at work. And all this universe that is called a person or a human comes to work, and these universes interact with each other. Sometimes they interact with each other in a good way, which is what happens in good workplaces. And sometimes they interact with each other in a very negative way, which is what happens in toxic environments. And imagine that a universe is acting very toxic or bullying another universe with all its complexity, and a trigger happens, and these people get some kind of past experiences or traumas or feelings or whatever that happens with them in the past, and they reacted, and then the other one started feeling that, okay, you are overreacting, and the escalation happens. It's too hard to manage all of this. So that's why I always say that you can manage projects, but you need to lead people. You cannot manage people,
Mm.
because people are a mix of feelings, a mix of mindset, a mix of thoughts, and they are changing, they are evolving. So like Ghalia today is so much different from Ghalia last year, last month sometimes. And is so much different from Ghalia after 1 year. And if you have people who are working with you for years, then you will see how they are evolving. We are dynamic creatures. So some things will change into a better, in a better way. Some things will not. Sometimes you will have more productivity where you will be great at work. You will have hundreds of projects within 1 year, but you will lose your mind. You will become too reactive. You will burn out, and so on. Sometimes it's the opposite. So understanding all of these is all about understanding how the human brain works. So for example, on the level of change, if you see change as a task to be done, you will not be successful. If you see change as something that will impact and influence and trigger something in people's mind, and you try to understand how it triggers their minds and their brains, you will be more successful into implementing the change, because you will understand that change is labeled in our brains as a threat. And our brains are wired and programmed to protect us. So there are a lot of things that our brains label as threats while they are not. It's because like the ancient humans were living like in caves and so on. They had a lot of risks, and all of this is built in our brains, in our
Mm,
unconscious.
mm. Still
And
until now.
whenever you start thinking that, okay, um, this is so much complex and I need to understand why people are interacting like this and try to clarify things and give them the sense that, okay, this is not a threat. This is something that will be good for you. The let's say the period of time between the previous situation, the new situation is painful because people are resisting their own minds, and they are training their brains that I'm not at risk. We're going into a better place. So whenever you understand all this complexity and you try to it's very important for every leader to start reading about psychology, to start reading about human brains work, to think of leading people beyond just managing the tasks, beyond just assigning the task, setting deadlines, giving them the tools or the resources. Because if you don't do this in this complex world, I think it will be too hard for you to be a good leader.
Mm. Galia, I have a question now. Let's take it into a practical example. And I know that you've been leading people who are older than you, right? So you are considered as a young leader. When someone who's older than you see him or her not performing, how do you deal with the situation?
Well, it's a hard situation. Yeah, as older people see younger people as ones who have less experience, less knowledge, less skills, and they see themselves as better than them. So it's kind of like whenever you try to manage an older person, you are touching their ego.
Mm.
And
We are
if
not
they,
generalizing
if
here, right?
no, of course, no, of course. Most of the times, it's that you are touching their ego, and they feel the sense of that. Okay, it's the normal thing, or the normal let's say rule in the world, that whenever someone is older than another person, then they know more, because it's like if you are in a competition or a race, and the first one knows more about the road than the previous one because they already passed. But in life, it's different, because life experiences are not just about age. You can find a lot of people who are young but wise. You can find a lot of people who are old, but they are messy. They don't have a purpose, and so on. So in today's workplaces, add a layer on touching the ego is that if the person is not mature enough, they will not understand that younger generations know a lot because they use technology more than them, and they are exposed to more knowledge bases online, and they use different tools, and they had this kind of like, we left traces for the younger generations to the roads, and they know that, okay, now I should go, I should do internship, I should go into the labor market with knowing about soft skills, I should be working on my digital presence, because someone is telling them. There are a lot of content, educational content online. They have all the tools to search online for what they need. Even education is different nowadays from before. So they have more knowledge because their life is different from ours or from the older generations. And if people are not mature enough to understand this point, that it's not that they lack the knowledge or the skills, but they had a different path. They have limited knowledge. They needed to make extra effort to get information. They didn't have mentors. That like I didn't hear about mentors until it's too late for me. And I experienced and I explored everything by myself. And it was really hard because I consumed a lot of effort and many years on trying to explore things. And that's why one of my missions is to leave traces behind me and tell people that you can do this, and like um share what I learned about how to like if I have any shortcuts or if I have any advices, share it with people, because I know the suffering of going the path alone. So if people are not mature enough, and if they have this kind of like ego, they will they will be very hard to deal with. But still, in this case, you don't need to deal with them as, hi, I'm going to manage you and you have to follow my instructions whether you like it or not, because they will not anyway. And you will turn yourself into an enemy in their eyes, and that's something, that's the last thing that you want with these people. You cooperate with them. You tell them, I have knowledge of new tools, and you have the experience, and you have the life experience, and let's mix this together in order to come up with an amazing result. Instead of working as individuals, let's mix what you have with what I have, and we can make magic. And you cooperate with them. You don't give them instructions, but still, like, see, it's kind of like tricky here, because you have to stay firm. You have to still get their respect, but in a diplomatic way. You have to be smart to do this, because whenever they feel the sense of threat, you will lose them, and it's really hard to get them back. So cooperate with them, stay firm, and don't force yourself as a leader in this situation. Make them respect you. It's okay if they don't like you. I had a session a couple of weeks ago about um, that it's not necessarily to be loved to be a good leader. It's okay. You just need to earn their respect and trust. And respect and trust are earned. They are not given. So whenever they feel that you are not an enemy, you are not a threat to their position, or you are not a threat to their value in the company, then they will cooperate. And you just need to understand the key for each one of them, because it's like, as you said, we cannot generalize things. Each one has a different personality, and each one has a key. So some people like you to be more formal with them. Some people like you to be more funny. Some people want this kind of like a more friendship kind of like work relationship. So you just need to understand the key of each one of them, and just like keep the respect for yourself, earn their trust, cooperate with them, and I think like even forcing yourself as a leader, even for younger people, is not really good, because you can force people to perform for their salary, but you cannot force people to respect you or to trust you. So they can be forced to do a task, but you cannot force a behavior, you cannot force a feeling.
Mhm.
So like it's all about earning respect and trust for everyone in your team, and just try to understand their personalities, so you can, and try to understand their level of the Maslow's hierarchy, even at work,
Let's
because you
talk
can
about it
reflect
again.
this at work.
Since
Okay.
we mentioned it
So
three times, maybe someone doesn't know
yeah,
what is it.
let me tell you about Maslow's hierarchy first, and then how it reflects on workplaces. So Maslow's hierarchy is about 5 layers of needs that every human being need, but in different levels. So the first layer from down is the psychological needs, which is food, rest, water, shelter, uh, uh, and these things. And then we have the safety needs, which is job security, safe environment, personal security, and so on. Resources, health, these things that, okay, you can live without, but still it's risky not to live to have them. And then you have the next layer, which is love and belonging, which is about the relationships, friends, family, and intimate relationships, sense of connection, and so on. And then you have the self-esteem, which is, or the esteem, let's say, that is about self-esteem, respect, status, recognition, strength, freedom, and so on. And finally, the top of the hierarchy is the self-actualization, which is about the desire to become the most that you can. It's very important for each one of us to understand in which level they are and which needs they fulfill in their lives, and what needs they still didn't fulfill. And so for example, you cannot go for someone who is living in a camp in a crisis area, and they are not secure, they don't have enough food, they don't have a shelter, they don't have security. Their kids are sleeping in a sleep bag or on the floor, and you tell them that, okay, we are going to provide you with a high quality education program for your kids and so on. They will not care about those, because they don't have the previous or the lowest levels or layers fulfilled. So on the level of jobs, whenever you go into a work environment, when you talk about psychological safety, I will go through them. When you talk about psychological safety, that means that you need fair salary, safe working environment, job security, and this comes first. So everyone needs this. It's not something that you use for motivation. And then when you move to belonging, not all people belong to the workplaces that they work in. So
Mhm.
some people go to work, do tasks, and go back. They don't care if the company burns out. They don't care if they lost money. They don't care about anything, because they don't feel belonging. And this is
Mhm.
where the ownership sense comes. Leaders should encourage collaboration. They should create inclusive environments. They should create psychological safe work environment where people feel that I'm safe. I don't need to see other people as threats, so I can focus on my work and I can express myself without any fear. And then when you go into the esteem, then it's about recognition, promotion, um, giving permissions, empowering the employees, and here leaders should highlight the contribution, not just in private. They should recognize the efforts of these people, the promotion, the achievements in public, in front of everyone. And if they did an achievement that needs a reward, like financial reward or something else, they should do it in public. And then into self-actualization, which is all about offering autonomy, creative problem solving, training, opportunities to contribute into meaningful projects, and so on. So if you have an employee that doesn't have a fair salary, you cannot just go to them and talk about belonging because they will not care. You should fulfill their basic needs, which are the fair salary, the safe work environment. And the safe work environment is not just about I'm going to be killed at work, or I'm going to break my leg, or I'm going to have an accident at work. It's psychological safe environment and it's physical safe environment on all levels, like even on the level of the tables and the chairs that they are using, the lighting of the rooms, the environment, the physical environment of the room. And there's a whole science about how workplaces should be in order for people to be comfortable and more productive. Because if you put them in a room that is not really good on the level of like, does it have fresh air? Does it have
Mm.
sunlight? Does it have good surrounding? This is part of safety work environment. It's not just about people or workers who work in hard work conditions. So whenever you give them the basic of these needs, then you can start thinking of, okay, I want to make this work environment more collaborative. I want to talk to them about belonging. I want to like give them trainings, give them promotions, recognition, start to think with them about meaningful projects and so on. And most of the people don't think of these things as part of leadership. They think that, okay, it's like, it's an HR role only, or
Mm.
it's like, okay, I'm giving you salary and you need to thank God that you're getting salary for working with us. So, uh, um, and leadership, it's very important to understand these things, and it's very important to focus on four, let's say, aspects or elements. Empathetic leadership, which is being able to understand your employees, to listen to them effectively, to treat them as humans, not robots, just performing tasks. Adaptive leadership, because you will have a lot of context, different context. You'll have a lot of, you will have conflict, you will have crisis, you will have times of uncertainty, and especially in today's world. So you will need to be adaptive, and your adaptability will reflect on your team. So whenever you are adaptive, they will be. If you are not, they will not be. And building trust, because human connection without trust does not happen. I cannot connect with you if I don't trust you.
Mm.
I need to feel safe to connect. And that's why you don't see people randomly connecting to each other in the street, because they don't know each other, they don't trust each other, so they don't really just like that connect, and that's it. And employees engagement, which is not just only about having a funny workplace where everyone have fun with each other. It's about making sure that everyone is involved, everyone is engaged with what's happening. And I once d- uh, uh, presented a video in one of my sessions, and it was about the difference between a group of people and a team.
Mm.
So a group of people are people who are sitting in the same place. They are working, but they are not working together. They don't have a shared goal. A team are people who are sitting not necessarily in the same room, but they are working toward the same goal. They have a destination they want to go to, regardless of the path that they decide to use. So most of the times when you go into workplaces and observe how things are going, you will find a group of people working. You will rarely go into a workplace and find that, okay, these people are true team. They are
Mm,
working together. They have cohesion. They have harmony. They feel safe beside each other.
mm,
So they don't focus on protecting themselves from other people in the team. They focus on their work. And
mm,
that's why you find, like, when you go into an environment where you feel that people are aggressive, then these people may not be aggressive in their nature,
mm,
but the environment made them aggressive because they feel that, okay, I need to protect myself because someone will attack at any time. So I need to be prepared for the attack instead of just thinking that, okay, I want to sit with this person. We need to discuss ideas together and collaborate. And I need to focus on my work and their work and the goal that all of us are going toward. So this is like, and this is part of inclusion. So, like, diversity is great. It has a great it's music to ears. Everyone is talking about diversity today. But are we creating, okay, we have diversity at work, but are we creating inclusive environments? That's the question. Because we can have a lot of people from different backgrounds, different nationalities, different cultures, different languages, different religions, different everything, but they don't feel included. So diversity gives you different perspectives and give you ideas, but inclusion gives you the collaboration and gives you the impact. And it's not about, like, gathering people from different parts of the world on the same table. It's about who is heard on the table, who is actually heard on the table. Is everyone heard? That's a really crucial question, because you will find a lot of people sitting in silence every time around the table doing this, and just like they don't care about anything, and they don't feel belonging. They don't feel that they have this kind of like ownership to this project or to this company or whatever it is that they are working in. And people who sit in silence, it, of course, it has a lot of reasons. It might not be the environment itself. It might be past experiences. It might be that this person is an introvert and needs more effort to be encouraged to join the conversation. It might be that they are bullied by their colleagues. It has a lot of reasons, but it's the leadership uh, um, duty to um, read the room. Read the room means that I understand. I'm listening to what's said and not said. I'm seeing the facial expressions. I am sensing the atmosphere, because you sense the energy and the atmosphere in the room. Once you step into the room, if you have emotional intelligence, if you are a successful leader, you can know that there's tension or there's a lot of like positive energy in the room. There are some people who are dominating and other people who are just following this flow. Understanding all of these things and understanding that money is crucial at work, but it's not the only thing. And you mentioned that a lot of people burn out because they don't feel the meaning beyond their work. It's because of all of these details. It's not like a huge effort. It doesn't need to be a project that will change the face of humanity or change the whole world. It doesn't need to be in this complex. Still, you can do simple projects and feel the meaning. Whenever you feel that you are part of this project, you are included, you are someone who is cared for, you are not just a robot who is just performing a task, and then at any time they can say to you, sorry, we are like letting you go, we are terminating your contract. Imagine how much tension people could have if they don't have job security, if they feel that um, the company I'm spending in 9 hours a day, 5 or 6 days a week, can let me go in a matter of seconds.
mm,
And then leadership or management feel surprised when someone resigns for a better salary. or a better work condition or a more international company. You didn't give them the sense of belonging. You are the one who give the sense of belonging. It's something that is given by the management and the leadership and the culture of the company you are working in. So if you don't create this culture, don't expect people to give you something you are not giving to them. It all starts with leadership, and unlike Maslow's hierarchy, it starts with the bottom to the top. Um, I always say that culture starts from top to the bottom. If you
Mhm.
don't have good leadership, you will never ever be able to create a good culture, ever, no matter how you try. It's like you can, people from the bottom can start a revolution and say, no, we are going to change things and we are these like fighters and we're going to change the face of the company. But most of the times they will not succeed. It could be successful, but it needs a lot of time and effort, and they might end up losing their jobs. And that happened to me personally.
Daddy, I wanted to tell you, I love your energy, especially when you're talking about like in the end, these topics about diversity and inclusion. I felt, you're talking about something from your heart, and it's very important also. And I see it everywhere. The I want to tell you something that I like our discussions. We go really deep. To be honest, I haven't asked you like 30% of the questions that I was preparing. And I think there are so many things that we can discover together. This is our second podcast, this time in English, but I think, yeah, there are lots of common interests that we have, and that which are I find super important now and in the future. There is one thing that I'd like to tell you or ask you, talking about well-being, inclusion, etc. What is the easiest way from your experience to convince CEOs, especially the ones who are focused on KPIs and profit, etc., to take care of these things, to invest in them?
Okay. It's very hard, by the way. It's kind of like a change management, because uh,
Mm,
that's why I told you middle management is the hardest, because you are squeezed from down and up. And most of the time, senior management is always focused about the results. And you are the one who is trying to balance between people and results. And people always care about, the team always focuses on themselves. So it's not really easy, actually. I tried to do this in one of the jobs I worked in. It was like I had some kind of like resistance, but then he started to see that, okay, there's kind of like an impact on the moral of the team. So he started to support things, but like he didn't want to show me that, yeah, okay, I'm okay with everything you are suggesting, like that easy, because he's the CEO, and it's not really hard to admit that he had been doing something wrong.
mm,
So, and I didn't go to him and say that you're doing this wrong, let's fix things. I went to him and I said that, I see that my team is doing a lot of efforts and I would like to reward them or give them some recognitions in a way that gives some kind of like adds a fun element to the environment. So I started some kind of like team activities and like every 2 weeks and so on. And I even engaged other departments or other teams. So it was something like people started to interact with each other more. Before, we were working as separate teams. Uh, uh, like they didn't have any kind of like connection. Everyone joins, enters the office. They say good morning and they put their headsets, and that's it.
mm,
And if they need anything, they send an email or they just like go to the person desk and they say, please, can you send me this? And that's it. And it was
mm,
disastrous. Like, guys, please, we are sitting here together for 9 hours, sometimes for more. and we need you need to kind of like have this kind of connection. So we played a lot of games where they can know more information about each other, and kind of like feel that, okay, there's a human being here in the office working with me. It's not just like someone who is performing tasks behind the screen. So I think leadership always needs to see how this impacts the results. So start by telling them, like focusing about the result that will happen on the result itself, the impact on the result. And there's like
You mean, for example,
I was
how
doing
the
some
team
kind
will
of like
be?
research yesterday, and
Uh,
there are studies, by the way, and you can share these studies with the CEOs. I know like they will not read all of them, but you can share at least the results, uh, um um like for example, let's say there's a study that says, okay, you have Harvard Business Review. They always publish studies, and they always say that inclusive leaders always have the best results. And there's a research from McKinsey and Company. It's about it's called Diversity Wins: How Inclusion Matters, and it says that diversity isn't a nice to have, it's directly linked to the higher performance, but only when leaders create truly inclusive cultures where every voice matters. Because there's something I always say, there's no employee who works in a productive way 9 hours a day. It's impossible. We are humans. We cannot do this. And but you can increase the amount of focus and ownership if they, for example, if they are capable of performing for 4 hours, and
uh,
most of the 4 hours they don't feel that the sense of ownership, the sense of accountability, they will perform poor tasks. But when you give them the sense of motivation, the sense of belonging, the sense of ownership, they will perform the 4 hours more efficiently. So they will be efficient. They will not just give you a task and that's it. They will bring more ideas. They will think about the reputation of the company, the brand image of the company, and so on. And whenever you see like, and I always do observations when you go into the a company's building, just observe the facial expressions of people. You will know a lot about the company. You will know a lot because,
uh,
and this is
uh,
this is one of the marketing elements, by the way, and people don't think of it like this. Because if I'm a client and I stepped into a company where everyone is frowning, everyone is feeling upset, people are just like they have an aggressive tone with each other or an aggressive tone with a client, and then I will not have a good impression about the company. I know that, okay, the like miserable people will give me miserable services. When I go into a company and a frontline person says hi and welcomes me, and they have this kind of like good attitude, I will feel like, yeah, just this looks like a good company. People are happy here. Everyone is collaborating. Everyone is saying hi. Even when you go into in the corridors of the company, when you are going from an office to another, or when you are going to a meeting room, you will feel that people are greeting you. Everyone is happy. Is everyone cares about reflecting a positive image about their company, and this is all because of leadership. If you don't have this kind of culture, it will not. They will not feel happy to reflect a good image on you. And even when they step out of the company after working hours, they will talk bad about you. And and if someone talks about their company bad outside, they will leave an impression. And
uh,
it might not be like talking bad about the company to a client, but it's a word of mouth at the end. And
uh,
every person knows a lot of people, and these people know a lot of people. So it will spread at the end. And suddenly you will just find someone who like tells you that, you work at this company. For example, you are a senior leader in this company, and they say, you are a leader in this company. And like, once I heard that one, you had this disaster, or like your team, your employees environment is not really good. People are always complaining. You are late in salaries. You have a lot of issues, and you will be surprised how people know about the company. And it's a word of mouth. And when you have happy employees, they will serve clients in a better way, and clients will be happy. And when clients are happy, the word of mouth will be positive. It's not it's not the opposite. It's like the golden circle. You start with why. You start with the internal thing, and then you go to the outside world. Same here. You start with your employees, make them feel happy, make them feel belonging, make them feel that they care about the brand image, and then they will reflect this to the clients. The clients will reflect them this to their networks, and you will have a good reputation. People will feel that you are a good company, will have a good image.
Galia, I
Yeah,
have a
so
question also. You talked about the trust,
yeah.
right? The trust is the key. So what advice would you give a leader to earn the trust from the first day, or maybe from the first hour when they take a new position or they come to a new company in a leading position?
Authenticity. Be
What is
authentic.
authenticity for you?
Do not pretend that you are a person you are not, and do not lie to people, because people can sense lying.
Mm,
And when you pretend that you are a person that you're not, people will, like, it's kind of like wearing a mask. One day you might like hit the wall and the mask will just fall on the floor and people will see your real face. And don't lie because people sense lying. And when
mm,
someone knows that you are lying to them, I would not be very negative, but you probably lost their trust forever, because
mm,
you give them, it's not just that you lied. What's the message beyond lying? It's telling, like, if I am lying to you, I'm telling you, Omar, I know, I think you are stupid and fool enough to
mm,
believe my lies and just go with the flow with me after the lie.
mm,
Or, Omar, I don't trust you, so I will not give you the truth. So it's
mm,
either this or this most of the times, and both ways kill trust. So
mm,
be authentic, um, and 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 see, leadership is not about being perfect. It's about being real. It's about being present. It's about showing off for your team, and it's about telling them that I don't have all the answers, but I trust we can find the answers all together. This is all about humanizing leadership, because people always pretend that leaders should have all the answers. They should be perfect all the time. Their decisions should be 100% accurate and right. They don't make mistakes. We are not angels. We are pure humans. So it's normal to make mistakes, and we don't have all the answers, and we make wrong decisions, and sometimes we react even
mm,
if we have high emotional intelligence. I cannot control myself 100% of the time. I will
mm,
be a robot. I will not be a human.
mm,
You cannot do this. I have experiences, I have personality, I have traumas, I have past mental health issues or current mental health issues, so I might react. I have current situations. I have pressure at work, I have pressure at home, I have commitments, I have a lot of complex things. So don't just like expect me to be perfect all the time. Like, even me, I will not, like, I might go into the workplace tomorrow and do some kind of like a negative reaction in front of my team. Will I, like, will I pretend that this didn't happen? Of course not. I will admit, I will apologize, I will
mm,
explain, And this is how they learn to be authentic. This is how you tell them that you can make mistakes and come to me, and I will protect you. I will give you the advice. I will give you the knowledge that you need. I will give you the mentorship that you need. I will give you the coaching that you need. But don't come and lie to me. In one of in one of Simon Sinek's podcast, he said that I teach myself and my team not to lie for any reason. Just be authentic, and you cannot tell your team don't lie, and you're lying in front of them. They will mimic you. It's like parents and kids. Kids always mimic their parents. They don't think if their parents are perfect or not perfect. They don't think that their parents are right or wrong. They just mimic their parents because they see that they are role models. Same for leaders and team. Team always mimic their leaders. And I always say, whenever you feel that there's something wrong in your team, sit with yourself and do a self-reflection. Do you emphasize this attitude or this behavior? Do you do this like even accidentally? Because sometimes you do like bad attitudes or bad behaviors unconsciously. Yani it's normal. So just like it's always starts with leadership. Be authentic, and people need authentic people today because we are overwhelmed with fake content, overwhelmed with fake people, overwhelmed with fake lifestyles, fake achievements, fake everything. Everything around us is almost fake. So people need authentic people to trust. And I think all of us don't feel safe anymore in this world because it's so
Oh,
much complex. It's so much complex
okay.
because, I could you are seeing the news, you are seeing like people killing each other. You're seeing a lot of like people stealing from each other. You're seeing how, for example, companies are letting go of hundreds of employees at the same moment. You're seeing a lot of bad news every day on social media. Plus the comments. If you go into conversations and comments, you'll find people are fighting all the time. We have a lack of trust in each other as humans. So if I go into a room that I know that I cannot trust the people in it, I will not connect, no matter how much they try. And I experienced this a lot of times. I went into rooms, I didn't feel belonging, and I didn't feel like I can trust these people. And I was totally disconnected, even if I spent 9 hours with these people. It's not about the quantity of time. It's about the quality of connection.
While you are listening to the Core Impact podcast, please take a moment to pause and share with me. How do you feel? Are you enjoying the conversation, feeling inspired, or something else? I would love to know your feelings in the comments. Ghalia, what is the most important skill that every leader and change maker must have in the next decade?
Emotional intelligence.
Mm.
I think it's an essential skill for everyone now, not just leaders. Because now we are dealing with a very complicated world, and everyone is struggling on the level of mental health, and it's really hard. By the way, it's really hard to be emotionally mature and like do some relationship management with everyone around you, whether it's personal or professional, and just be like have some kind of like self-regulation and self-awareness and so on. And this is all under the umbrella of emotional intelligence. So if you are not able to be aware of yourself, your emotions, your thoughts, your ideas, your insecurities, your traumas, you will not be able to communicate with people effectively because you will be under the stress of reaction instead of response, and at the same time you will read
What's
people.
the difference between reaction and response, by the way?
Well, reaction is very fast. It's not rational, and most of the times we regret reactions
Mm.
because it's emotional. It's not something that we thought about, and then you know, response is taking a moment, maybe pausing, taking a deep breath, analyzing and understanding the situation, analyzing yourself, the situation, and the other, and then responding, which is so much different because most of the times we don't regret responses. Most of the times responses are rational because we took a moment. And reaction, we can say that reaction is the sound of our insecurities somehow.
Mm. Mm.
I can think about it like this because sometimes you just translate the situation in a different way because you have an insecurity, and this is why you are so much angry of the situation or so much nervous of the situation, and you react. And this is
Mm.
your brain trying to protect you, by the way, because it's programmed like this. It's programmed
Survival.
to scan the situation, scan the surrounding, detect any dangers or threatens or anything else, and then react. But the brain the brain reacts fast because it wants to protect you.
Mm.
'Cause sometimes when there's risk or danger, you don't have a lot of time to think about how you want to handle the situation and so on. And here comes this self-awareness and the self-regulation. So when you reflect on the things that you did reactions to, you will find out a lot of about yourself.
Yeah.
Find a lot about why did this situation trigger me
Mm.
while it was just like a simple situation.
Mm.
And then you will discover a lot of things about yourself. And when you understand these feelings and these thoughts, you move on to self-regulation. You say that next time when I'm in the same situation, I will, for example, take a deep breath. I will not translate it into a dangerous situation. I will not understand the other in a wrong way. And maybe I will have a very quick self-talk with my brain,
Mm.
telling it that calm down, it's not dangerous. I'm not going to die. No one is going to hurt me. Just let's take a deep breath and response in a calm way.
Mm. Galia, uh, it's a journey, and I've been in this journey for a long time, and I thought, like, I am calm. I'm more calm by time. I react better, etc. And just noticing myself in the last 2 days, there were three main triggers that happened to me, and I was like, every time, wow, it's interesting, because there were so many days when I felt like I was so calm for a long time, and it then comes up again. But I think this is the most important thing is just to self-reflect, as you said, self-awareness, right?
Yes, it's
Mm.
an endless journey, by the way. You will always have something to discover about yourself. Always. Even till the moment that we die, we will die, and there are a lot of things we didn't discover about ourselves. That's the charm of this journey, you know? You always know that I will never reach the end.
Mm.
The more you reflect, the more you think, the more you try to understand yourself, the more you will find. It's like digging inside yourself and finding maybe sometimes good things, bad things, maybe sometimes something valuable, sometimes not. But you will always find something.
Mm. Galia, there is one question which is the easiest could be to answer, uh, or the shortest at least. What is the one question that you've been reflecting on or searching for that you would like me to ask a relevant guest about in the future?
Oh, nice. Um, Actually, I can think of two.
Mm.
The first one is, do you think you are really digging into true leadership, or you are just in the illusion of leadership, because we have a lot of misconception about leadership, and some people think that it's something and it's something else.
Mm,
The second question, why are you going into the leadership path or, journey? Because
mm,
it's a very hard journey, by the way,
mm,
and it's getting harder because the more humans are complicated, the more the journey will be complicated.
mm. The first
Because
question when you saw,
leadership is all about people,
mm,
and and for us, like you mentioned, like you thought that you reached a wisdom where you will not be reacting to anything, and then suddenly you are reacting to three things at the same time. So it's something that you cannot control 100%, and it's
mm,
hard because you are the role model as a leader, okay? And at the same time, people can have people have let's say have different levels of emotional maturity. So now maybe we are on the same page because we are working on our self and awareness and emotional intelligence, but other people are not,
mm,
and the majority of people are not. Why are you taking the heavy weight of being a leader, dealing with all these complications, dealing with hundreds of different personalities, traumas, insecurities, people who are triggered, and people who are from different backgrounds, childhood, teenage? Why are you taking this heavy weight?
mm,
I think this is a good question for every leader to think of.
mm. Coming back to the first one, you said about true leadership, you said, and the illusion of leadership. So it's more about how they define their leadership, let's say, in other words, and what are the misconceptions about it. Or you mean something else?
Somehow, yeah, somehow,
Okay.
because a lot of people think that they are leaders, but they are not.
Yeah.
Are they true to themselves to say that I'm not yet a leader, a true leader?
Mm,
I'm working on it? Because these are hard questions, by the way. No one likes to be wrong.
mm. Galia, I really enjoyed the conversation with you. And now I'd like to give you the space to, with final words, either call to action, either something we haven't talked about you wanted to talk about, or anything else.
I know I mentioned that leadership is very hard and it's complicated, but it's worth it. And for everyone who knows that they can do good impact to people, they can influence people's life, just don't hesitate to be leaders, because even though it's hard, you will feel lonely, you will feel stressed, you will feel that you want to give up. A lot of the times, you will feel that no one is appreciating what you are giving, but this is not the truth. Like, it can be hard. We can be lonely in the
Mm,
journey. We can be stressed because it's too much, but it's worth it, because whenever you start seeing the fruits of leadership of these small plants, you will be very grateful that you did this. And like it's always coming back to me, like I've always believed in karma, but like the last couple of years it was magic to me, because I discovered that I impacted a lot of people's lives without me knowing that,
mm,
because I wasn't doing this to show off.
mm,
And just like, be your true self and humanize yourself. You are a human, even if you are a leader. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to stress out. It's okay to feel lonely. That's the point. Leaders are lonely because they are the ones who go forward first. They are the ones who do the extra mile. They are the ones who take the heavy weight of, you know, managing the emotional side of management, but that's okay. At least you will know that. And I always say that we will pay a price no matter what choice we take.
Mm,
There's always a price to pay.
mm,
And you decide which price you want to pay. The
mm,
price of staying um with the team or with the group, or the price of being the leader who is
mm,
doing influence and impact and so on. And respect for everyone for all their choices, because leadership is not for everyone, not because someone is better than the other, but because it's hard. It takes a lot of extra effort. It takes a lot of extra self-awareness and self-regulation, and you need to be the boss of yourself.
mm.
And this is not easy, because a human brain likes to do the easy things, likes to be lazy, likes to to avoid a lot of hard conversations. Yeah, I think that's it.
Mm. Thank you very much, Galia. I really appreciate you. Appreciate having a podcast with you now in two languages. And all the best with everything you do. We stay in touch.
Thank you, Omar. I enjoyed the conversation too, and I hope that everyone who's listening enjoyed too. I will see you in
Thank you.
another podcast. I know that.